Welcome back to In The Slant. Today I'm joined with Dustin and I'm joined with Alex. Unfortunately, we'll be without Jared today. We got to give a big congratulations to our boy Jared. He's welcoming his second child into this world, which is why he will not be here. He is going to be on dad duties. I don't know how long that will last, but shout out to Jared. Congratulations.
Congrats, brother.
Congratulations, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But how you guys doing? We got to start off with a good note with Jared, but how are y'all doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, Brady Parks?
I'm doing good, man. You guys are getting really good at asking me how I'm doing as well, so I appreciate that. But we got to start off the show talking about DeAndre Hopkins getting released. There was a lot of talks about him potentially getting traded away. Never ended up happening. Sounds like he was almost traded to the Chiefs. And the Cardinals just go ahead and eat some dead money and just release him, get him off the team, and now he's officially gone.
It's honestly crazy to me that they just, they paid him his whole contract. So, I was even thinking about it. I was like, dang, he can still go make a bag somewhere. But then Brady's like, dude, he could just literally take the vet minimum since, he literally is still getting a bag. And I'm like, dude, if that happens and he goes to a team for super cheap and they just keep on building onto it, that would literally be insane. But for some reason, there's a little part of me that thinks that D-Hop still wants to get paid a little bit, though. I don't think it will be a vet minimum. I don't know why. I just don't think it will.
You got to think about the teams left with cap space, though, aren't the best destinations for him. So, because, he's been on record saying, obviously, Josh Allen with the Bills.
That'd be wild.
Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs or Lamar Jackson with the Ravens. Then there's been some talks about Deshaun Watson trying to recruit D-Hop as those two could reunite. Obviously, they played together in Houston, which I think would honestly be awesome if those two reunited.
Probably the best fit, right? Speaking of it right now.
I like the Browns. I also like the idea of the Bills just because of how bad Gabe Davis was last year. Just super disappointing. So having someone to take pressure off of Stephon Diggs, I think could be huge. And D-Hop and Stephon Diggs as a wide receiver duo just sounds super nasty.
And then imagine the games that Gabe Davis goes off to, just having all three of them.
Yeah, that would. It almost reminded me of when the Rams had Odell, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp, but we never saw it because Robert Woods literally got hurt the next day.
And he was playing at a high level before he got hurt, which is crazy.
So that could be a crazy wide receiver trio, but I'm not surprised that the Cardinals went ahead and did this. They're not going to be looking to be competitive right away because of the whole Kyler Murray injury. Marquise Brown, though, probably going to go up some fantasy draft boards if you want to go ahead and select. He was awesome last year. Of course, D-Hop started the year suspended. Marquise Brown will be the clear number one there, 100%. We'll see where D-Hop goes. We'll keep following that story. But today, the main thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the ceilings and the floors of each team. This is going to be the AFC edition. The next episode, we'll probably do the NFC. So the way we're going to do this.
I got one question.
Go ahead.
Did the Cardinals pick up any other wide receivers besides Hollywood and get rid of D-Hop? I can't remember if they drafted somebody because I was really thinking of that. Obviously, they have Hollywood Brown, which we know that when he goes out there and performs, he's a really good receiver. But he also was known for the Ravens for dropping passes. Yeah. So
I honestly, I just got to throw in with D-Hop. I don't really see him going to a team where he'll be like a true number one. He is a true number one, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying he's so late in his career, why not just go somewhere where you're possibly going to win a Super Bowl at this point and take a little bit of a pay cut?
But
does he deserve all that money still? Or I saw on ESPN he was first since 2016 in touchdowns, yards, and fourth in a different category since 2016. So it's his production is still at a high level, in a long-term run. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the thing is why the teams are thinking they can get him for cheap is because the Cardinals are already paying him $23 million. So he's already getting $23 million this year no matter what.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
So that's why people
and then he's completely off their books next year. That's why they're doing
wow.
It.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. So that's why Brady was talking about that he could sign a vet minimum. But also when you're saying teams that he couldn't be he might not be a number one, but if he goes to a team like the Chiefs, he's obviously the number one there instantly, and if they could probably pay him a little bit more than vet minimum. So I don't know. There's a lot of interesting topics for where he can.
It'll be kind of similar to when Dez Bryant signed with the Ravens. I think.
Yeah,
it'll be something along the lines of that. But obviously Dez Bryant wasn't Dez Bryant out of the league for a year before he signed again.
Because he went to New Orleans and then he tore.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And honestly, they went off that year. I feel like if he didn't get hurt that year, he would have had a great season, honestly, there. But that's just me.
Back to
sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying he had so many unlucky scenarios throughout his is the end of his career at least.
So. Back to your question about the Cardinals. They drafted, I believe, Michael Wilson, picked up Zach Pascal. They got Javon Wibbs, Auden Tate, and then of course still have Rondale Moore as well.
Yeah. Zach Pascal's a solid pickup for sure.
Yeah. So
they don't have a bad wide receiver core.
Not bad at all.
It's not terrible.
I just in my head, I can't imagine where D-Hop's gonna go. It's just
I just think it's the Chiefs, low key.
Browns,
but-
Bills, or Chiefs, I feel like is the 3 teams we should be looking at.
Sure.
But like I mentioned earlier, we're going to do the ceilings and the floors of the AFC teams today. Basically, we'll be saying whether we think they could be a sneaky playoff team, they're a Super Bowl contender, maybe they're going to win the whole Super Bowl this year. Basically, whatever you want to interpret these teams as, and we'll try to set like a record foundation as well for each team. So we'll start in the AFC East as we usually do. Let's go ahead and start with the winner of the AFC East last year, the Buffalo Bills. So who wants to name the floor for the Buffalo Bills first?
The floor is like first round playoff elimination to me.
I can agree with that. Just based off how well, I guess it depends because I feel like we just have a bad taste of the Bills right now with how bad they played against the Bengals in the second round. But I mean, usually in the first round you get an easier opponent. But with how stacked the AFC is, I don't think that's too crazy to say what Dustin's saying. So
yeah, I don't think it's crazy at all.
But I think
agree.
that's the floor though.
Yeah.
I think obviously like the ceiling would be Super Bowl champs because obviously we've always said for years that Josh Allen's one of our favorite quarterbacks to watch. They have a good team, but it just like what Brady said, it just seems like in big moments, Gabe Davis never goes off. He's just like one of those guys that like once every 3 games he just pops off. So obviously, if they somehow did get someone like D-Hop, they're literally would be my Super Bowl favorites by a long shot. So
For real?
yeah,
if the Bills got D-Hop,
yeah.
honestly, I can't disagree with that. I think Diggs and D-Hop would be nasty. That's just sounds.
But like solidify like you for sure think they could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they could technically do it without that right now. So just imagine adding D-Hop to that
Yeah.
puzzle. That'd be pretty awesome for them. So, but for me, the floor, I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback off what Dustin said. Floor is probably first round exit if they're just really disappointing. If they get like a tough round 1 matchup and they just somehow slip up, don't play, or they play down to the opponent, whoever it may be. Obviously, we don't know who they're gonna be playing, but first round exit. And then ceiling for me, yeah, it's going all the way to win the Super Bowl. Buffalo's one of those teams that we thought could have done it the last 2 years now, so that remains the same for me.
This is a tough one, honestly. Like, honestly, I definitely got their low first round playoffs, but honestly, I don't know if I can see it. Maybe if they get D-Hop, but they made it to the AFC Championship, I think once or twice.
I don't think they've even gotten there yet. I think they've been a divisional twice.
Wow, because I know they lost to the Chiefs the year before, I'm pretty sure. But
yeah, Bengals and Chiefs lost to both of them in the AFC divisional.
I just feel like right now they can make it to the championship, but I just haven't seen them do it. Honestly, it gets so dysfunctional in the playoffs.
Yeah,
for me at least.
it's kind of crazy they haven't even been to the AFC
Yeah.
Championship yet
Yeah.
with Josh Allen. I don't believe. I could be wrong, but
I
I'm
don't-
pretty sure they haven't.
I don't know if it's just pressure. Josh Allen just is feeling a little nervous, or their defense is feeling nervous. Something, man.
He was turning over the ball a lot last year down the stretch. I noticed with Josh.
Yeah.
He was just
They
like
were talking about
a
that a
little
lot on
loose with
ESPN.
his arm. I'm not sure what's going on with Josh Allen fully there, but
Is it
Moving-
because he don't got day ball? No, I'm just playing.
it must be.
All right, let's go.
Dolphins.
Dolphins. I want to take a floor on this one.
Go ahead.
Dude, honestly, I do think the Dolphins can make it to or I'll just go high. NFC or AFC championship. Especially with the defense they have now, Tua staying healthy. It's like honestly very scary what they can possibly do, because I know down the stretch was really rough for them, but just everyone healthy on that team, it's just like a superstar loaded team, honestly. Tua might not quite be a superstar in some people's eyes, but I feel like they're really nasty scary, but they're low. I definitely feel like something in a scenario could happen next year where Tua does get hurt. I hope not, but I feel like their low is another like maybe 600 season, 650 season. That's just me.
Want to go next, Dustin?
My floor for the Miami Dolphins is probably like 7 wins is the floor for me, and then the ceiling would probably be. I'm not as hyped as them as Alex is, but I mean, I'd say their floor is like maybe past first round of playoffs. That's how I feel about them.
Brady, let me hear it.
Ceiling for me is making it all the way to Super Bowl. I think
For real?
I honestly think they could do it. A
understand
lot
why
of
you're
things would
saying
have to
that.
line up. Mike McDaniel was a great head coach for them last year. If Tua is healthy and is playing the way he was last year, I don't see why, with the way they started the season, they couldn't be a team that made like a deep run and somehow got Super Bowl. I'm not saying they'd win it, but I feel like there's no reason why they couldn't get there. They're one of those teams that were surprising me last year with the way they were playing. They were on a hot streak for a while. And once Tua just started to get the concussions going, obviously things just started to fall flat for them. The floor for me is probably just missing the playoffs, which is how stacked the AFC is. I could see a world where the Dolphins don't make it. They barely made it in last year, and that would probably be because, Tua got hurt or something along the lines of that where things just didn't go their way. But I could see a world where the Dolphins make it to the Super Bowl. I don't think that's too crazy with just the way they started the season last year. I could see it happening. So who do you got? Anything else you guys want? Am I crazy to think that?
No, I don't think you're crazy at all to think that. Like, that's why I got them going to the AFC
I'm just
Championship.
on the Dolphins. Maybe that's what it is.
It's just like, how do you stop their offense when they're on all cylinders? It's damn near impossible in my opinion. But
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle.
That's what I'm saying.
It's nasty, man.
And Tua can just do what he does, and the defense is looking better. Oof.
Patriots.
I'll take this one over since I'm
Dustin
part of.
is a known Patriots hater. I feel like
I'm a Las Vegas Patriots at this point, so my floor for them. This might be disrespectful. I don't see the Patriots making playoffs this year. So,
but what record wise, like?
Okay, so my floor for them is like 6 wins. Okay.
All right.
And then my high for them, just because their defense alone. Because listen, my issue with the Patriots has always been their offense, and like I feel like they did not do many things to make their offense better. Their defense definitely got better with Christian.
Juju ain't good enough for you.
That's basically
Mike Gesicki.
That's basically
James Robinson.
That's not good enough.
But listen, the Patriots' offense is still trash. Okay. But their defense is good. So, like I said, their floor is 6 wins. Their ceiling for me is 9 wins. I'm not even lying to you. Their defense is all they have.
I mean, they went 8-9 last year.
And there's been so many rumors about them not even being confident in their quarterbacks. I don't know
Mac
how you
Jones,
you
Bailey
go.
Zappi.
Yeah, like they have no confidence in their quarterbacks. I don't even know how they're confident in this offense at all.
My ceiling for the Patriots, 2nd round. I think that's fair. Bill Belichick seems to get the best out of his players every year, it feels like. They did go 8-9 last year. I mean, the year before that, they're in the playoffs, got smoked by the Buffalo Bills. But yeah, I think 2nd round could be the ceiling for the Patriots. And then just straight up like 7-10 kind of season would be my floor for the Patriots. I don't think they lose more than 10, or they don't. I don't think there's a world where they don't like win more than like 7 games. They're definitely going to be in that. If they're not in the playoffs, they're going to be in that mediocre 500, under 500 range or around it. I think the Patriots will do just fine. Although this AFC East is a pretty good division. We haven't even talked about the other team just yet.
Yeah. Man, Belichick always finds a way. He seems like he's still kind of sticking to his regular system. He's trying to like build up more running backs. The question marks the quarterback, but I can't think of like any premier number 1 receivers Belichick's ever had except Randy Moss, Julian Edelman, and Rob Gronkowski. Just in the past like decade, he just runs his system a lot differently than most coaches. But my floor for them is 6 wins. That's the floor. And I don't think that's going to happen. That's just my floor. If that were to happen, I think the Patriots can still win 10 games this year and get in the playoffs somehow, just some way. So 1st round playoff for me.
I agree with that. Jets,
man.
Jets.
Right,
Can Aaron Rodgers take Jets to the Super Bowl?
He can never do it with the Packers, but he did it once.
Ceiling, Super Bowl, okay? This team is just so... Oh, I don't know about that.
I just want to go ahead and throw it out before I go. They're not going to the Super Bowl. I don't think they are.
Super Bowl is my ceiling. Their floor, 8 wins would be their
8
floor.
wins?
Yeah.
Brady, let me hear your take on it.
Damn, 8 wins? That seems kind of low.
But that's my floor. That's my floor.
I
Like,
know.
absolute war. Look at this AFC is just crazy though. So like
That's
I can really
true.
see him
He's
taking
got
a
to play a
bunch
lot of
of
good
L's, so,
players.
like,
And he's going to play Pat Mahomes for the first time.
and he's got to play Josh Allen
if
twice.
they finally play each other,
Yeah.
He's got to play Tua twice. He's got to play the Patriots defense twice. Like I don't know. So floor for me is 8. Ceiling Super Bowl.
Floor for me, I mean, if everything goes right for the Jets, the floor should be a playoff team. 10-7, something along the lines of that. That should be the floor for the Jets. Ceiling, I mean, with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and they have a really nice, talented team around them, good coaching staff. I mean, I feel like the ceiling every year when you have Aaron Rodgers under center should be to get to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to keep that same expectation with Aaron Rodgers, and then with the Jets, of course, here as well, since they have him now. So, yeah, my ceiling is going to be Super Bowl for the Jets. So that's 3 teams that I could see making a Super Bowl out of the AFC East.
Damn.
With the ceiling of that, I would say.
Okay. That's hard for me to say. I saw on ESPN at work is Aaron Rodgers gonna take the Jets to the Super Bowl, and my first thought in my head was honestly no,
Yeah.
because he's been to one Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Won one out of 12 years. How long was he there? 10 to 15, 10 to 12.
Some long.
He was there for about a decade, right? Maybe a little more.
Over there, decade, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So that's why I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. They got all the pieces, yes, but I just don't think they're going to make it. I think their high, their ceiling is division championship, AFC division championship. But if not, they're going to win at least 9 games for sure.
But okay, can I say one thing though that I would say is different about the Jets and the Packers? Is I felt like down the stretch a lot of the times going into playoffs, the Packers O-line was just beat up, dude. And obviously, like, there's a question mark on why am I blanking on his name? The one, Mekhi Becton, is that his name?
Yeah.
There's question marks on him, obviously, but they have been buffing up the O-line, and I do think the Jets' O-line is a lot better than the Packers is, especially with David Bakhtiari. He's always injured for like the last 2 seasons minimum. It might have been more than that. So, I don't know. I just feel way more confident in this Jets team going into playoffs. And I feel like, to me personally, it wasn't like, don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers was making misplays in the playoffs, but also I feel like the O-line was always weak in playoffs, and he was always getting pressured like crazy.
I will say he's been hurt quite a bit the past 3 years. He's just banged up all year. He's every year on fantasy. I've had him 2 years in a row. Almost every week he's questionable. Yeah. Every week because he's banged up. his fingers, his toe, something. But I just can't see it right now. The division is just too stacked. You're gonna have to get past the Chiefs. That's been assembled for a minute. The Bengals, the Bills, the Dolphins. It's just like, dude, if he does make it to the Super Bowl, props to you, A-Rod. Like, godly.
The AFC just keeps getting richer, man. Feels like every offseason it just gets better and better. You guys ready to move on to AFC North? Got anything else to add to the AFC East?
Nope.
AFC North time.
Another hard division.
Bengals. Super Bowl. I mean, that's the ceiling for the.
I think we can all agree.
Obviously, they have the opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's the ceiling every year with Joe Burrow. They're just
Yeah.
just a good team. Floor is literally
just missing playoffs.
AFC Championship is the floor.
Oh, dude,
that's your floor?
No.
Damn.
The last 2 years, that's what it's been.
Dude, I just feel like the AFC just keeps on getting more and more stacked. So obviously, ceiling for me, Super Bowl. I agree with Brady on that part. I feel like Alex agrees on that too. But floor for me would just be them missing playoffs. Like, I'm not saying like missing it by like a long shot. Like, I feel like they're gonna be in a high and everything, but like slightly missing it by like a game or something over somebody. That would be like my minimum floor I could see from them.
Floor is second round for me. I can't see this team missing the playoffs unless Joe Burrow just lost a leg or something. There's no way.
Yeah.
But you also remember that if this division, if Deshaun Watson started playing better, all these Steelers fans seem to think Kenny Pickett's the next Jesus himself. So, like,
he did win 6 out of his 7 games down the stretch last year.
Kenny Pickett could be good. I don't disagree with.
But
him.
I'm not saying that he can't be good. So like, if all those things fall into place, the Bengals have to go against the Ravens twice, Deshaun Watson twice, and Kenny Pickett twice, and we obviously know the Steelers' defense is good. So I feel like that just in its hard itself. It's like the AFC East for me again. Like looking at the AFC East, I'm like, these teams gotta play each other twice a year.
Yeah, you're right.
That's really how that division is to me. So.
What's your floor for the Bengals?
So hard to say, but honestly, my floor for the Bengals, I'm gonna piggyback off Brady. Second round for sure. When I look at Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, I look at him as like the modern day Peyton Manning and Tom Brady back in the day. Just like, I feel like you're going to see those two guys in the AFC Championship for years to come. If they don't make it, it's honestly like, and it's definitely in their eyes that they're always thinking Super Bowl, but if they don't even make it to the AFC Championship, they're like, they probably feel like shit by the end of the season. Like, I can't believe I even make it to this level. They're just both so raw, but Joe Burrow definitely is making it to the second round. I just don't see anything else happening. But one more thing before we move on. I was at work and a Bengals fan came in. The first thing I asked him was, "Are you guys gonna win a Super Bowl?" And he said no. He said no.
Nice belief in his team.
I was like, damn. I was like, damn. But I disagreed with him. I was like, bro, there's no way. Like, they don't win one. Dude. If they don't win one Super Bowl in the next 5 years, I will be surprised.
What about the Baltimore Ravens? Our boy Jared ain't here to represent.
Jared, I got you.
Floor for me personally, defense alone, right? Dude, you guys gotta remember, I'm not saying these teams can't. Floor for me, 8 wins for the Ravens. Like the same thing I was saying about the Bengals, you gotta play all these teams twice a year, so that could definitely affect your record. So floor for me, 8 wins. Ceiling for me would be AFC Championship. I don't think they can make it to the bowl, but AFC Championship is my floor for them.
Floor for me is just barely missing out on the playoffs. I could see a world where the Ravens are in the race.
And I think that's what 8 wins is. 8 wins is like barely miss out on playoffs.
At the very end, maybe they miss out just barely. But my ceiling would probably be, I could see the Ravens. Now that they finally got Lamar Jackson, it seems like a solid wide receiver core. If he's out there for every single game and they have a new offensive coordinator that sounds like he's going to open up the field a bit more, not run the ball as much, I could see this team being a Super Bowl team. I really could. I think Lamar has all the ability and the talent to do so. It's just a matter of being able to stay available, and I would love to see some more play calling. But with Odell, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Dobbins, I think this team has they have the pieces to go out there and get a Super Bowl, or to go at least make it there. I think they could. That's my ceiling for them. And then floors barely missing the playoffs if that were to happen.
Okay. I definitely think their floor is first round playoffs, but honestly, I'm just so high on the Baltimore Ravens. I think they can win the Super Bowl for sure. So that's just me. They got all the weapons. I have a feeling Lamar will stay healthy this year. He's going to play a lot smarter. O-line's going to sharpen up because he did get hurt in the pocket both times. I definitely think they can win a Super Bowl.
What about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Dude, honestly, their defense does got me hyped this year. I do like their defense a lot, especially with the addition of Joey Porter. So, I feel like it's going to be like the same thing as the Ravens. My floor for them is probably like 7 wins, so 1 less than the Ravens. Just because their defense is so good, and as long as Kenny Pickett can go out there and play, I feel like they're going to do good. And then my ceiling for them is definitely not AFC Championship like the Ravens, but I would definitely say playoff team for sure.
Yeah, my ceiling for the Steelers be like a wild card team. I could see, especially with the way Mike Tomlin has his team playing every year. Floor is 9-8. It seems like Mike Tomlin always has his teams over 500. So
always.
I'm just going to stick with that trend that's been going with Mike Tomlin. So I think the floor is a wild card team, or not the floor, sorry. A ceiling would be like a wild card team, potentially upset a team in the playoffs, and then the floor would just be like 9-8, maybe barely missing it. So I think the Steelers will be right in the mix of things, especially if Kenny Pickett could take a leap into year 2, which will be huge for the Steelers if they get that.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off Brady. They definitely will be 500. That's their floor for me. Mike Tomlin always finds a way. Their ceiling, I think they could be sneaky good, honestly. Definitely first round playoff for their ceiling. So,
and now I feel like the toughest team in the AFC North is the Cleveland Browns. We got to figure what kind of Deshaun Watson are we going to get this season is the biggest question, in my opinion, because we just don't know. Dustin, you've been on record to say you're ready to give up on him. Do you still feel that way?
Floor, 5 wins.
Damn.
Ceiling. Wild card spot, but you missed the playoffs. That's my ceiling for them.
Wait, what? That don't make any sense. They're a wild card team.
Okay. Like they're fighting for a wild card spot at
you.
the end of the season, and they miss out. That's their ceiling for me.
Damn.
Unless, like, Deshaun Watson would literally have to prove me so wrong. And like, don't get me wrong, by like week 3 next season, if you see Deshaun Watson balling out, you will see me on the podcast apologizing to everybody. But just from what I've seen so far, I just don't have confidence. So 5 wins, floor, barely missing playoffs, ceiling.
That is a very low floor for the Browns. We got to think about what the Browns gave up for this man. You got to hope that's not your floor as if you're the Cleveland Browns. That just isn't enough. I would say the floor is probably right around that 500 spot where you're 8-9 or 9-8. And then I could see the ceiling being as long as we're getting Deshaun Watson we saw in Houston. I don't see why this team couldn't maybe be a second-round playoff team, but it's just really hard to go that far with the Browns based on what we saw last year. We're basically going to be seeing Deshaun Watson, I feel like, start for his very first season in Cleveland because last year just something we really can't take too serious, in my opinion, with just everything that was going on with them off the field and stuff. So hopefully this year we'll get a better sample size, know what kind of Deshaun Watson we have, and Cleveland better hope it's Deshaun Watson they saw when they traded for, because if you traded 3 first-round picks and You give him $231 million guaranteed, and he just never ends up being his former self. It's just a shell of himself. That's just gonna go down as one of the worst trades in, I would imagine, NFL history. So
3 first-round
Well, not
picks.
for the Texans. It'd be a good trade for the
no,
Texans.
Texans, the fleece
Yeah.
of the history, but the Browns, that just. I mean, I understood why the Browns did that because they've been searching for a quarterback for years, it feels like. So, if Deshaun Watson comes available, and that was before we knew if he would be suspended or not, they went out and got him. And now he is going to be able to play this year. So we'll see, man. We're going to see if that investment works out for the Browns.
Yeah, I agree with Brady. Maybe second round for sure. I don't know what to expect from Deshaun Watson right now. I definitely want to see him play at that high level again like he did in 2019. Their floor, I think they can go 500 for sure. That's probably my floor. It's just so hard to say what's gonna happen. Deshaun Watson seems to be that guy. He's been that guy even since high school and in college. But we'll see what happens. Just so much media attention last year definitely probably put a lot of pressure on his back. But so yeah.
And I got to imagine coming into week 13 and starting after obviously being away from the team and stuff definitely was tough for him. So
And you go back against your home team too. Where it all
yeah,
happened
and obviously those Houston fans were ready to say whatever they needed to.
They
say
said
to
a
him.
lot for sure.
Yeah, a lot of things been thrown Deshaun Watson's way, and I don't think those jokes are ever going away, unfortunately
No.
for him. So
It's kind of like another Big Ben scenario.
yeah, kind of. I feel like this is way worse though. Almost.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's-
definitely.
At least
20,
I guess for me
30-year-olds.
because I wasn't a big football watcher when that was going on with Big Ben, so like this is just more well known for me. Let's move on to the AFC South. This division, I feel like the floor and ceilings won't be as high as those last two divisions, where there's a lot of good teams in those divisions. In this division, you definitely have some interesting teams. Let's start with the team that won it last year, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're adding Calvin Ridley to this mix. So for me, the Jaguars, the ceiling is probably once again set. Well, I could see a world where the Jaguars are an AFC Championship team. Why not? I'll go on a limb and say that. I could see a ceiling of the Jaguars being an AFC Championship team. They were able to get to the divisional last year. They definitely put up a decent fight against the Chiefs. But yeah, I'm going to say ceiling, AFC Championship, potentially. Definitely is their absolute ceiling. That would have to have everything go right for them in the floor. I would say barely missing the playoffs. I feel like this team will be in the mix. There's no reason why they shouldn't be. Build off of last year. Doug Peterson's a great head coach. Adding Calvin Ridley back. That's my ceiling and floor for the Jaguars. I believe in them.
I'll mix it up a little bit, okay? Because maybe I might be crazy, but I am really happy about this Jags team for some reason. And even though AFC Championship is a good ceiling, if they're balling out and Trevor Lawrence can do what Trevor Lawrence does, a 27-0 comeback in playoffs is crazy
Wow.
to me.
Oh,
So to me personally, my absolute floor is if they are like, I would say missing playoffs would be their floor, but I don't even think they do that. Like that'd be very rare.
Yeah.
And then their ceiling is easily to me. I think they could go to Super Bowl, but I do not think they could win. But they could get there if everything went right. They could go to the Super Bowl.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I don't think you're too far off.
that is pretty wild. I don't see him going to. I don't see him going to the Super Bowl. Honestly, I just don't. But I definitely can see him making it to the AFC Championship. And same thing as Brady. They barely not make it to the playoffs. It's just so much of a question mark. I do like Doug Peterson. I do like their team. I do believe in Trevor Lawrence. Their defense is pretty good as well. So it's just hard for me to see him making it all the way to the chip. But they can definitely, their ceiling is definitely AFC Championship. 27-0 comeback. Imagine how you would feel as a player doing that. Like,
Fortunately, it was against the Chargers. Obviously, the Chargers are going to charge her. They just have a lot of different things going on with
Run
them.
the
It feels like
football.
they find a way to do things just
and
I don't know,
Eckler,
that, and any
is
other
still
team.
there?
Yeah, it sounds like Eckler is going to be staying with the Chargers. Those rumors have sailed, it seems like. But yeah, so next team would be the Tennessee Titans. This is the lowest floor I'm going to set. I could see this team winning as much as like 5 games. That's the lowest floor I'm set so far, just because I don't really know the direction of this team. Ryan Tannehill, will he start? Is Will Levis going to see some time this year? Derrick Henry, of course, is going to be the consistent running back they need him to be, but Traylon Burks at wide receiver. I mean, I don't know. It's just a mystery with what we're going to get out of this Titans team. I think the floor is definitely 5 wins. Ceiling is being a wild card team. I don't think this team is a contender anymore, like they were.
I feel like there's a random scenario where like you could see Ryan Tannehill starting at the beginning of the season, and I feel like randomly like Will Levis could get to start like mid to late season and just somehow get them. So my floor would be like what Brady said, like a wild card spot, and that's if like
That's your floor.
That's your floor.
I mean, my ceiling. I'm sorry. Like my ceiling's that, and then my floor would then just be like, I don't know. If they start off bad, like super bad, I thought they were just gonna start Will Levis anyway, so and see what he can do. So I don't know. My floor would probably be like 4 wins, and then my ceiling would be a wild card spot, like Brady said.
Yeah, they're definitely not contenders anymore in my eyes as well. It's just too much has happened to the whole organization. Ryan Tannehill, I mean, you could say he's a pretty good quarterback, but he's not definitely going to lead a team to a Super Bowl, in my opinion, at this time right now, maybe a couple years ago. But their floor is definitely 5-6 wins. I could see him in a scenario where they win only 4 games, possibly, and then their ceiling's wild card. It's probably the best option for him. I can't see him only being in the mix, you know.
I feel like it's how it's
in
gonna
a
be.
ceiling.
Yeah.
scenario.
I feel like 3 of these teams for me, it's literally gonna be the same thing. Like their floor for me is 4 wins. Their ceiling for me would be wild.
So you just want to throw them all together, Colts and Texans. Same.
Yeah,
it's
that's-
literally the
that's
same
how it
thing.
is
It's
for
gonna be
me.
2
Yeah.
rookie
Well, okay,
quarterbacks.
But I will say, can I say one
Go
thing?
ahead.
Okay, so the Texans, I will say the same thing that I said about the Titans. Either 4 wins or wild card spot. The one thing I will say about Anthony the Colts and Anthony Richardson is if he can somehow start balling out early. I've always, and this goes out on a record for me, I've always loved the Colts roster. Like there are other pieces they have on both sides of the ball. So I just feel like to me that their ceiling is definitely their ceiling's winning the division and probably getting to the second round with the Anthony Richardson first year, and their floor is 4 wins. Like that's how it is for me. But their ceiling is a little bit higher than the Texans and Titans for me if he can ball out.
Yeah, Colts and Texans. I'm gonna throw them together. It's gonna be the same for me. Both are gonna be probably starting a rookie quarterback. Maybe Richardson doesn't start right away, and maybe Stroud doesn't start right away. We shall see. Organizations handle it differently with every single rookie quarterback. Floor for me, just like Dustin said, it's going to be like around 4 wins, and then ceiling is going to be, if everything goes right, sneaky playoff teams, wild card contenders, some not Super Bowl contenders, wild card teams that they could, if everything went right, they could be a wild card team. I'm going to throw those two together because that's how I feel about both of them.
I believe Texans' floor is a little bit, I guess, better than the Colts. Colts at 4. I think the Texans can win 6 to 7 games. That's just me. I do believe in C.J. Stroud. I feel like he has the IQ to actually do pretty well this year with a good coach behind him, and they're sharpening up the defense a little bit. So I just feel like they can win 6 games for sure, and then possibly first round playoff. And I would give the Colts more for the ceiling wild card, if that maybe barely making wild card. Because I don't know if I can believe Anthony Richardson's that guy yet.
No, but that's what I'm
I
saying.
can't.
To me, that's like my floor. Realistically, to me, like if I had to bet all my money, if I think they're gonna make playoffs or they're gonna get 4 wins, I would say 4 wins. But if he somehow goes crazy and balls out, he has all the tangibles to be a great quarterback in the league. And Michael Pittman, what's his name, Alex Pierce
Alec Pierce.
Alec Pierce, like they do have some nice little weapons. So, and obviously, Jonathan Taylor, he's a dog. So I don't know. I just feel like that team of Anthony Richardson can even be like a little bit above average quarterback that they could easily make playoffs.
You ready to move on to the AFC West?
Yeah.
This is a pretty tough division as well. Last year, we thought this division was going to be like really good, where we could see 4 teams out of this division making the playoffs. Definitely did not result the way we thought it would. Obviously, let's start with the Chiefs. I mean, let's get this out of the way.
Super
The
Bowl.
ceiling is literally a Super Bowl. The floor is a Super Bowl. I mean, no,
The floor is the Super Bowl.
The floor is probably AFC champion or divisional. The absolute floor for the Chiefs is divisional for sure. Maybe even AFC championship. That one's easy in my mind. I know Dustin. I mean, I know you've been a Chiefs hater. So do you agree?
He's been a
agree
Chiefs
or
hater since
disagree
the
with that?
womb.
Listen, okay, they're not going back to back. So ceiling for me, okay. AFC Finals, right?
Okay.
That's it.
Their
ceiling?
their floor for me, okay.
Damn.
Is getting eliminated first round of playoffs.
Oh my lord, Dustin,
They
come
still
on,
make
man.
playoffs, but they're not going back to back. You guys got to think about it like this: the Chiefs are not.
I think they
going
can go
back.
back to.
I don't see why they couldn't, man.
They're not.
They went. They
If
they
Jimmy
won
G's got
one,
anything to say
lost
about it,
one.
they're
They did
not.
go back to back already, but they lost the second one. But I can see them going back.
For
to
all
back.
you Chiefs fans, I might be a Chiefs hater, but that's your guys. That's still
All
a
right,
good
Dusto.
ceiling
All right,
floor.
Dusto. Let me take the stand.
The
'cause
Chiefs
you're
are
sounding
third in
ridiculous.
division last year. That's what you were saying.
Oh my god, Dusto.
Go ahead.
The Chiefs can definitely win the Super Bowl again.
There's no
I-
reason why they couldn't.
Yeah, I can see them going back to back. They're just so good, man. It's just crazy. It's just crazy how good they are. And then their floor. It's just piggyback off Brady at this point. Second round playoff, but if not, they're making to the AFC Championship for
Yeah.
sure. Like, it's just so. If they don't, I'll be shocked. I will be shocked. That team is just stacked. They got all the weapons they need, honestly, in my opinion.
We'll clip it this year when you guys get eliminated for round one.
I mean, it feels like they don't even need stacked weapons. Just Mahomes and Kelsey in themselves just find
Yeah.
a way to get it done. I don't know. Especially if they add D-Hop to that equation. If they do, it's over for the league, man.
They just have like all these perfect pieces for their system, and
Yeah.
Kadarius Toney could potentially have a good season. There's a lot of rumors that he could be a true number one. Really believe it or not, but he has the athleticism to do it, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I just
But-
feel like what people don't realize is that all these AFC teams are so good. Like, yes, the Chiefs could win the division and get a super good record where they get the first round bye, right? But say they don't, and they go against a team like Ravens, like the Bengals or the Bills, like
Okay.
they could definitely lose round one. Like if that's the case.
This is my thing. You
What if
got-
they get the bye though? They're not losing round one, right?
Yeah, they
but
probably
that's
will
if
get
they
the
get the bye.
like I put the Chiefs like here, and then you got like Bengals, Bills. You know what I'm saying? That's why like, that's the Chiefs are just a little bit better all around, in my opinion, and that's why they always seem to beat them in the playoffs.
I'm gonna say the same thing as last year.
Except for the AFC
This is-
Championship. against
they're
the
not even my
Bengals.
favorite team in the division. I know this is gonna be crazy to say.
Oh god.
I'm literally gonna ride with the same team I said last year.
All right, go ahead. Start with the Chargers.
Dude, ceiling for me, same place as the Chiefs. Okay, like AFC Championship. Because last year they struggled a lot. Don't get me wrong, their head coach is terrible at time management. That is one of their biggest issues. If that coach could do time management, the Chargers would be a way better team. Justin Herbert has never been the issue. Their weapons, even when they were injured, Justin Herbert can still ball with anybody. Their defense was always injured. That was another thing that set them back last year. Is they had a lot of they got the stacked defense, but they were all injured. They were all never playing together. So for me, like I said, the ceiling is AFC Championship. Their floor for me is getting eliminated first round. I think they are a playoff team in my eyes, no matter what.
Chargers for me. The ceiling is gonna be like divisional round. I feel like I would have felt a lot better about this roster if Brandon Staley was not the head
God,
coach
yes,
anymore.
Exactly.
If they just got like a legitimate guy that was just gonna make sure things were done correctly around there, then I would feel really good about this Chargers team because they got all the talent in the world. I am a little bit worried about the Chargers' future a little bit, just because Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I mean, I don't know if they'll have all, and then obviously they drafted Quentin Johnson, so we'll see what happens there. And then Eckler, of course, was running a bag, and that hasn't happened yet. So definitely the future for the Chargers seems a little scary. So their window could be like right now if they want to do something. So AFC Championship or AFC Divisional, I'll say, is their ceiling. The floor is barely missing the playoffs, like the year before where they lost to the Raiders and barely missed it. I think with Herbert under center, a lot of people call Justin Herbert overrated and stuff like that, but I feel like they're a sneaky, or not sneaky, I shouldn't say sneaky, but they're a playoff team. If they're not making playoffs, they're just barely missing
If you
it.
guys think that Justin Herbert is an overrated quarterback, I advise you to go watch that the game against the Raiders and Chargers who makes playoffs, because Justin Herbert,
Was dotting y'all.
it was dotting us
Yeah.
up. I mean, we have a shitty defense.
If Jared
I
was here,
can't
I'll
lie.
quote Jared as, well, it's not hard to do against the Raiders.
Yeah, I said the Raiders defense is questionable, so that's another reason. But he was dotting us up.
What's your belief in Herbert and the Chargers?
All right. Herbert's definitely his ceiling's definitely second round playoff. I mean, maybe in a crazy scenario he'd to sneak into the AFC Championship, but I just don't see it happening. I do agree with Brady. Like the Super Bowl window is probably closing real soon. So if they're gonna do something, they need to do it now. Because if they keep getting better and say they do get to the Super Bowl, in a crazy scenario, so many players on the team are on a fucking bag. Like the defense is stacked. They got J.C. Jackson. If he stays healthy, he could be nasty for him. So all around, it's a great team. But it's just. And Herbert's not overrated. That's just crazy to me.
I know. I've
a
heard
little
some people
crazy.
say it in the past.
He
I've
is
seen
not
on Twitter.
overrated.
If you watch
No.
Chargers games and you think it's his fault why they lose the majority of these games, I need you guys to go watch Brandon
Bro,
Stanley because he is
Run the
or
fucking
Stan-
football. Like,
Dude,
it's
he
so
is
simple
terrible.
at that point. Eckler is just
Or dump it off to Eckler in the backfield or something.
he's such a versatile running back, and he just looks so little. Like he's not
Yeah.
little. He's still big, but like don't even.
Dude,
he's an
there's just
athlete.
something that
But
he
just
has to be doing right
squeaking by
to have
everybody.
them still have confidence in him and not fire him. So there has to be something that he's working on or doing. I don't know. I watched a video of Dan Campbell talking about. He's like, "Oh yeah, when I first started coaching like the line stuff, it was really hard for me to manage time manager." But he's like, "I'm really confident now." He's like, "I'd watch tape and he's like, I learned how to do it." He's like, "I learned when the right time to do it is." I'm like, this dude's been a head coach for the Chargers for 2 years minimum, maybe even more than that, and they still haven't got their time management down. Like it's just kind of ridiculous. to me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. When it comes to time management, I feel like when you're sitting at home watching it,
It's
just
a
feel
lot
it
easier,
feels easier to
honestly,
know
yeah.
what to do. But like when you're in the moment and like
Yeah.
things are just like happening, it's a lot harder. So especially like I'll find myself in the middle of a quiz and like there's stuff I know, but I'll just blank because like you're in the moment and things will just it's just
Yeah,
what
for
when you're under
sure.
pressure, it's just things are a lot different. It feels like it's easy to say
Hundreds
should
of
have done
cameras
this.
on you.
Especially as a fan, I mean, even with every sport, you could sit there and be like, "Oh, you should have done this, should have
Couch
done that."
Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're in the moment, decisions become a lot harder because I don't know, it's just a lot going on, obviously. So
Yeah.
hopefully he can be better with that. That's going to be the main thing for the Chargers. If they're going to be better this year, time management has to be a big focus for this team,
Has to be a thing.
for sure.
Because you don't blow a 27-0 lead ever. I'm sorry.
You can't. You just can't. The Las Vegas
Dude.
Raiders.
Raiders.
What's happening with Jimmy G, by the way? Is that man even going to play?
Dude, I don't know. So he failed his first physical. He's having foot surgery. Luckily for us, the Raiders did make the contract very easily to cut him. So like, if he does fail the second physical coming up, which I don't even know when it's going to be since he's having foot surgery, then we can just cut him and not lose any money. So literally, if we cut Jimmy G, there's already been rumors about Tom Brady owns stakes of the Raiders, so he's gonna play quarterback.
Yeah, dude, I got distracted earlier because I got a report that from Bleacher Report that said Brady could own and QB the Raiders.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what everyone's been talking about. Tom Brady is okay. I don't even give a fuck who's the quarterback. Our floor is even. Okay. And our our ceiling is even. Our
500?
floor is like 2 wins.
Well, it's impossible to go even. So is it 9 and 8?
Oh, okay, yeah, 9 and 8. 9 and 8.
I guess I remember. Yeah, there is a possibility.
We went 9-7-1. Because
Yeah, we
tied
went-
with you.
we
fucking
went
commies.
Didn't we go 8-8-1
I'm
last
pretty
year?
sure y'all did go 8.
Yeah, 8-8-1.
Fine,
so-
we're going 8-8-1.
Okay.
That's our.
You're tying
season
with
for
the
me.
Broncos. Because you know the Chiefs would tax that ass.
Yeah. Ceiling for me for the Raiders. If Jimmy G is playing, he is a good game manager. He's going to be playing with Josh McDaniels. And the last time I saw him play with Josh McDaniels, of course, that was with the Patriots when Tom Brady was suspended for those 4 games for the Deflategate. He looked amazing in those 4 games. So I'm going to assume with Jimmy Garoppolo playing with Josh McDaniels again, this team could be relatively decent. I'm going to say like 10-7 is the absolute ceiling for this team.
Playoff?
Wild card team for sure. I think that's definitely a possibility for this roster. And then on the other side, as far as the floor is concerned, I could see a world where this team is winning like 6 games or something along the lines of that.
Yeah. I do like Jimmy G. I do think their ceiling is definitely wild card. Maybe first round for sure. Like they're pretty good with what they got, you know. So
And I honestly can't wait. I would say as a Raiders fan, I just don't want to. Last year I got all my high hopes up and I got crushed. So
you
that's
guys
why
would
I'm
look
not-
so good in like the
not doing
first
this
2
year.
quarters, and then something would just happen. But definitely the floor for them is, honestly, just crazy scenario does stuff. 5 wins, just like
I said 2.
you said 2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2
yeah.
wins is your floor?
Hey, Caleb Williams, thank you for coming to the team next year.
that would be That'd be pretty dope if you went there.
What about the Broncos? Are the Broncos floor
They're
lower than
worse-
the Raiders?
They're worse than the Raiders. Their
Broncos.
Their floor is 1 win. Okay.
What did Jackson say? Go suck a donkey.
Their floor is 1 win.
That is wild
Their
to say under
ceiling-
Sean Payton they're
Their
1 win.
ceiling is like 7.
Oh, come
Damn.
on.
Damn,
Oh,
Dustin.
man. That's crazy.
I'm not even capping. I'm not even. This is a promise to you guys right now. Broncos don't get more than 8 wins, and that is no cap.
You know
So
what?
you got their ceiling at 7 wins.
No, yeah, their ceiling's at 7 wins.
So
and
they're gonna go 7
and 10.
Yeah, 7 and 10.
Yeah,
Which they went 5-12 last year. So I guess that'd be an improvement.
yeah,
but-
they
Yeah.
improved.
All right.
It's the little steps that matter.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Dustin's saying the Broncos are gonna suck again. I have always been a big believer in Russell Wilson, and I was able to believe in him until that just had to die for me based off his play from last year. But I'm gonna go back to being a Russell Wilson believer. Sean Payton, he's gonna get the most out of him. I think their ceiling is a wild card team making the playoffs again. Floor is going to be like 7 and 10. That's just what I'm going to say. I think saying 1 win is insane. I just can't get behind
Okay,
that.
fine. Let me be realistic.
1 win.
Their floor is 3 wins. Okay.
That's not
God.
better, but go ahead.
Gosh, I'm not a big Russell guy, but it's hard to say. Like he will bring out the best in him. So my ceiling is definitely wild card for sure. I just don't see why they wouldn't be able to get to that stage as an organization, just because the coach, the weapons, the defense is there. It's just really on Russell Wilson. We'll see what happens. And their floor, I give them 6 wins for
Okay.
sure. So 3 wins is crazy.
Russell Wilson, I hope
That's
you're
just
ready
crazy.
to get sacked by Max Crosby and Tyree Wilson twice a year.
Do you remember how bad I wanted Russell Wilson in Washington?
And I remember I told you that you don't want him.
Russell fucking.
I wonder if things would have went differently. I highly doubt it under this organization because,
He'd be down bad if he was.
oh, for sure. I feel like things would have gone relatively the same as they've gone in Denver, where he has like there were some weird things behind the scenes that Sean Payton has changed already, where Russell Wilson had like people in the building that shouldn't have been, or he had an office away from the players, or it was some weird stuff like that. And Sean Payton sounds like he's changed a lot of that already. So
No,
I
he
think
walked
that,
in there and he said, "No." He said, "All the team 3 needs to get the."
yeah, like there's some weird things going on. I think Russell Wilson is a weird character for sure. There's been some things said about who he is as a person. Like Richard Sherman, I think, went on record and said that Rich Sherman and Russell Wilson, they bowed together, went to Super Bowls together, and Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman were out there saying that to get in contact with them, they had to talk to an agent or something like that. Like
his manager.
yeah, our manager. If they're saying if I have to talk to a manager, I ain't talking to you or something like that.
Yeah, but I remember seeing that, and it just shows like you can do all this successful accomplishments and goals in your life, and it's like they're basically implying like fuck that guy. Like
Yeah.
we don't fuck with him like that, and that says a lot. That dude was winning championships with them. So I think just with the stardom, who he's married to, who she used to be with Future, it's just like he's like it's bigger. Like he's more than just football now. He's like a superstar. You know,
He's like trying to be a celebrity.
yeah.
I
So
guess. I don't know.
he's changed. It seems like his demeanor's changed a lot. I mean, obviously, we don't know.
But he did lose a
personally,
lot of weight. I did see that picture. He did lose
He
like
lost a lot of weight.
yeah,
Must be cutting. I mean,
Is he shredded?
not shredded, but he did look. I mean,
did he lose weight or did he just lose body fat?
Dustin's like, isn't that the same thing?
Not necessarily.
Probably
he could have gained,
I
maintained.
mean, maybe it's body fat. I mean, I hope it's body
Yeah.
fat with how his fucking workout regimen should be.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens, man. That was our ceilings and floors for the AFC teams. We'll see you guys in next week's episode. For now, this is In The Slant. We're saying
Peace.
peace.